meeting two colleagues of mine, Dr. Nara Hiroko Takaki and Renata Quirino de Sousa. Thank you very much for joining me today. You have just launched your first books that deal with English language teaching in Brazil. So I'd like to start by asking you, why did you decide to write these books?
Well, my book is the result of research from my master's about teachers in public schools, English teachers in public schools, and I decided to write about it because it intrigues me why people decide to become English teachers, especially in public schools, and because this is something so important in our country, now that English is a global language, and people don't believe very much in teaching English in public schools, so I wanted to find out what teachers think about it, basically that.
Well, for my case, I decided to publish this book because I always studied at public schools in Brazil, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to contribute to the teaching and learning of English in public schools somehow. And also because my advisor, who is Professor Valkyria Montemor from the University of São Paulo, is involved in a project, in a national project, which has to do with teachers' development in public schools. And she had recommended having my thesis published, so I thought it would be a great opportunity then.
What would you say are the main points of your books?
Well, I think the main points are that my book helps to deconstruct some models of teachers, because according to my research, teachers are very much worried about some models, like a good teacher is the teacher who can control the students, who can transmit the knowledge as if it were linear. And then during my research we found out that we don't have to follow these models, right? Because knowledge is not something linear, so you're going to construct it with your students, and then you can have a more informed choice when you choose what you're going to do in the class.
Well, the points I highlight in this book are connected to Bakhtin's concept of language. For him, language is always already heterogeneous, dynamic, paradoxical, and a departure from this concept, which is crucial for 21st century literacies. And another concern in this book is related to the question of research methodology. Now, according to Professor Menezes de Sousa from the University of São Paulo, interpretation, critique, and self-critique should go together, and they are connected to uneven relations of power, and therefore it raises a question, another question, which is ethics. So in this research, I'm interested in investigating how teachers of English working in public contexts produce knowledge from different perspectives using various texts, such as media texts, short stories, cartoons, and images. So in this book, I think one of the most important aspect is the consideration that we should have while listening to the others and listening to ourselves, as he recommends. So what I like most in this book is the fact that we teach, but we also learn. We also learn from and with the others. I think this is crucial in this book, and so let's see what the public will say.
In what aspect do you think these books can contribute to English language teaching in Brazil?
Well, I think that the first thing that my book can contribute with is that the knowledge that the objective of English teaching is very much different in public schools and in language schools. Because in language schools, you don't have the necessity to build a citizen. So you're going to deliver a product. This person is going to speak English and that's all. He's not being formed as a citizen. And in the public school, in schools in general, in formal education, you have the obligation to develop citizens. So you have another approach. You're not going to teach the language like a product. You're going to teach how to think critically, how to analyze what you see every day. And this is the big contribution, I believe, to separate one kind of teaching from the other one.
Well, to me, this book, they contribute to the general ELT in the world in the sense that it tries to consider the participants' perspectives, who are the teachers of English, working, dealing, with public contexts. The greatest contribution might be the fact that conflicts and complexities can and should become productive rather than negative. So the concept of language generated by the ELT has reduced language to the 4 skills, like in the communicative approach. So this is what my book tries to reconstruct, but not, not ignoring the communicative approach, but also trying to transform it. So in a way, this research of mine resists, challenges, and tries to transform the linguistic and cultural imperialism generated by the general and conventional ELT in the world. So, it might be of public teachers of English interest, but also teachers working in the private sectors. Especially now that children, adolescents and adults have been bringing knowledge, abilities and experience into the classroom, challenging teachers' decision and epistemologies. So I'm more concerned about transforming epistemologies, considering our linguistic and residual aspects. It's not a matter of substituting one attitude, one approach by the other, but just thinking what we can do together in spite of the cultural differences.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
I would just like to tell that I'm very glad that this book was published, and I like very much to work with this kind of theme, and that I think English teachers in Brazil are survivors, especially in the public schools. So I'd like to keep on doing this kind of research and helping these people find out more about why they do what they do, why they think like they think, for them to make more informed decisions in the future.
Oh, I'd just like to thank Professor Valkyria much more for her priceless tutorial, and also Professor Limari Trindade Muniz de Sousa, and all the other professors, colleagues, friends like Renata and like you, my husband, my family, for their love and support. And just like Renata said, I'm really engaged in this subject, and I'm concerned about approximating university and society, because I believe in education, especially in public education, and I hope this book will contribute in the sense that citizens, readers, will become authors, not only readers, but authors and co-authors. And as Giroux says, responsible border crossers from a more transdisciplinary perspective.
Nara and Hinata, thank you very much for telling us a little bit about your books. Thank you.